Hey, what's going on? It's Peter here, and today I want to talk about circumstances. So, this morning, as I was driving home from my girlfriend's place back to my place, it's usually around like a 50-minute drive, and that's a perfect time for me to just listen to cool podcasts or cool YouTube videos and other people I follow on social media, and just put in like some good stuff into my brain to start my day. And this morning, I was listening to this guy named Bashar. So he's actually an entity that's not from this planet. He gets channeled through this guy named Daryl Anki, I think his name is. Anyways, so fascinating guy. I love hearing what he has to say. And basically, the topic of today was the secret behind the secret. So we all know the secret, right? The law of attraction. But in this video, he broke it down even further. And one of the key concepts he talked about was the fact that circumstances don't matter, only our state of being matters. So what he mean by that is a lot of people they think that the circumstance creates their state of being, like if they're in a I guess happy place, or if they're on vacation, or if nothing's bad's happening to them, if things are going well, if the outside circumstances are in their favor, then that is what allows them to be happy. So that impacts their state of being. Whereas Bashar was talking about how it's not the circumstances that matter, it's actually our state of being that actually matters. So our circumstances don't actually create like the external material world that we think it does to make us happy. It's actually our state of being that then impacts the external world, the material world, into being something that's favorable in our eyes. So yeah, it's just like I kept thinking about it, and it really is like the concept of inside out, right? To what we feel, what we think, and how we operate from the inside, that's what really impacts our view of the world, our perceptions of the world, and whether or not we take some external circumstance as good or bad, right? Um, in the end, everything is neutral. That's one thing that he teaches as well. Like, there's nothing inherently good or bad about any situation. It's what we prescribe to that situation. It's how we interpret that situation that then we throw these labels on it where it's good or bad, right? So there's that old fable where, like, the country's going to war, and this one guy, his son was riding on a horse, and the horse bucked him off, so he broke his leg. And then the neighbor was like, "Oh my God, like such bad luck." And then the father was like, "Oh, we'll see." So then, since there was a war going on, the army came to the house, and they couldn't take the son and draft him to the war because he had a broken leg. So then the neighbor was like, "Oh, well, what good luck you had." And then the father was like, "Oh, we'll see." Right? So nothing's inherently good or bad. It's just how we interpret it. So I feel like, yeah, this concept of, you know, controlling our state of being, I think that's really important, and being aware of our state of being at all times, and just checking in to see, you know, if my state of being actually matters, and that impacts the material world, and that impacts the circumstances that I'm in and how I perceive the circumstances, then that just brings a lot more awareness for me to, like, okay, what state of being am I in right now? Am I joyful? Am I happy? Am I peaceful? Am I in a state of curiosity, learning, excitement? Or am I frustrated or angry or pissed off or mad? Like, because that's gonna impact everything else, right? It could be like there could be something good happening outside, But if I'm mad or pissed off, I'm not going to be able to see it. Whereas if I'm in a good mood or I'm joyful and I'm in a state of, peace and calm and happiness, something bad can happen outside, right? Something bad could happen, and I can look at it and be like, oh, well, here's that sliver of good from that. Interesting, right? It doesn't have to impact me. So it's funny, I actually wrote on a cue card the saying, and I taped it up in front of my computer where I can see it. It's right here, right? Circumstances don't matter. Only my state of being matters. What state of being do I prefer? Choose and behave accordingly. So that's a reminder for me as I'm doing my work, as I'm working with different clients, as I'm just spending a lot of time at my desk during the day. I can see that there's certain situations or events that trigger me, or I can feel like a little bit annoyed at times, right? So for me, it's a great reminder to, number one, be aware of when I kind of sway to one side or the other in terms of my state of being and, kind of going more on the negative side, so to speak, and really catching myself and say, okay, it's not the circumstances, it's not the client, it's not the situation, it's not the event that I'm experiencing with my work. That doesn't matter. Only my state of being matters. So choose my state of being wisely, and then that way I can start behaving in that way, and then that's what's actually going to impact the outside circumstances and the external world that I'm in. So yeah, super valuable YouTube video that I was watching this morning. I'll post the link in the bottom there if you're interested in checking that out. And yeah, I hope that idea helps you out in some way. And I hope it's just, a great reminder to really think, inside out. It's not the outside in, right? It's not the outside circumstances that impact our feelings and our state of emotions and our state of being. It's actually our state of being that impacts our external world. So that's it for today's video. I'll see you in the next one.